Hello, Pisces. I am Ulrich. I'm a Lenormand card reader, but this time we will use a financial deck for your card reading. The deck contains 44 cards and the laying is done with 3 cards. You can also see 4 objects here on the table, meaning we will do 4 card readings for each astrological sign for the month of July. And this video is specific for Pisces. From the 4 objects you see here, you should choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality or you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice should or will relate the best to your current financial situation or the advice that you will receive from the cards. Of course, you can watch all 4 videos related to the Pisces sign, and after you saw all the 4 videos, you can then decide which of these symbols or object is fitting best your personal card reading or your financial situation. The matches here represent the fire element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, the stone here represents the earth element, and the shell represents the water element. So here we go, Pisces, for your card reading for the month of July. So Pisces, as I said earlier, we start now with the matches group, which represent the fire card. The system of the cards is the same. The central card is in general the most important, or it represents the current situation. This is how the situation can or will evolve, and this is where you come from. So starting in the middle, you see here the middle card, it represents publicity. This card actually, I will explain the cards one by one. The cards, this card actually represents advertisements that we are confronted in our daily life, meaning we open the internet and immediately we are confronted with advertisement that has a certain impact on our lives. Also, when we open our mailbox, a lot of information is coming to us. Some people tend to be more sensitive for this bombardment of information. Other people are more resistant to it. It also urges you not to go in certain publicities and things that are not essential, that you don't really need. On some people also it creates a certain pressure for buying. So this card, it's like a consumption card. The advice here is this card tells you not to be influenced for gadgets or objects that you don't really need, that you just buy out of like an impulse. That's what this card actually says to you. Also, this card means like you should compare your current situation, because we have credit cards now, we have more means to make credit. It also tells us to think about our financials, the financial situation of our grandparents. They had more comfort than we had. They didn't have any credit cards, so they needed to budget in the old-fashioned way. So this is what this card also tells you. It tells you to take a critical look on your current situation and reflect on it, and maybe it can show you a whole new perspective. The first card here that you see here is resilience. Probably you came in this situation because of this. Some people are more resistant to publicity than others. Maybe you're in a difficult financial situation because maybe you gave into certain a certain behavior of buying. However, this card tells you also not to be passive and just give in to your fate. it tells you that you need to be resilient. It tells you actually you need to reverse the whole situation, but also reflect on it. You need to think about the pros and cons, how you get there, what you can do. You need to actually acknowledge that there is a lesson in this, and you need to make the best out of the current situation. For example, a lot of very rich people had a certain period in their life, they were into poverty. So instead of feeling sorry for themselves or things like that, they just showed a behavior for getting out of there. They persisted. They learned from their experience and they changed their harmful behavior. So it says to you also, this card, you need to be aware of certain flaws and weaknesses that you have that can bring you in certain situations. But it says also you need to turn your disadvantages in advantages. So don't think this is like bad luck or something, but just see it as a way to improve yourself and that you can bounce back out of this situation. By applying this resilience, when the storm is finally gone, you will recognize that you have learned a valuable lesson. Then we come in the last card here, rémunération. It means balance. So what does it tell us? Well, actually, it means maybe because of your current financial situation, you would appreciate, or your goal would be like getting a raise. But actually, this card tells you otherwise. It tells you that you need to think if a raise actually would do you any good. It tells you maybe not to be too sure of it, because regardless of what we earn, our annual salary, what really makes you improve is that you balance in advance. So actually it means if you would have balanced here, or the situation, if that was possible, of course, if you were able to balance the situation, if you had not confronted with this situation, now you would be able to balance it more. It tells you to gain control back over your expenses. It's imperative, it says here, that you learn an important lesson and you learn to limit yourself. It's like you need to balance your scales. So this card, it tells you to manage your daily expenses better in relationship to your earnings. After this, but because this card also speaks for the future, after you have balanced and you have redirected your expenses, then it might be a good idea to focus on an increase of salary. Because the lesson here to be learned is that you need to get along with what you earn right now. And then when you have balanced, you will actually improve your daily or your life situation as it is now. So this is all for the fire group. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Hello, Pisces, and welcome to the Aerosol group, which represents the air elements. As you can see here, we have 3 cards again, and the middle card here represents creativity. What does this card tell us? Well, this card tells you if you have a certain amount of money, instead of spending it, just be creative with what you have. It urges you to be creative, and instead of opening your wallet, you make something creative that costs you less money. Maybe it urges you to design something, like you make something with recycled materials, and do something that represents your personality. Because if you spend money and you go shopping for several hours to find a certain object that you dream of as a present, or that you want to give to somebody, this card urges you to be creative of your own. Instead of going on a hunt for finding a certain object, it urges you to use your own creativity. For instance, if somebody in your surroundings has a birthday coming up, for instance, a relative, just inspire yourself and prepare something that everybody has more fun with, because it's your own creation. And then also you will not be confronted with a high astronomical bill. If you're original, it will benefit you. Here, this card represents that originality is the order of the day. So it urges you also to start thinking out of the box and ask yourself about your real needs. How could you fill your real needs differently? It also tells you to take some time today to question your creativity and think about what you could do yourself by being creative. And then at the same time, you're also saving money. So it's like 2 for the price of 1. So it says actually here, make room for your imaginative spirit in your kitchen, for giving presents, in the office, and balance your budget. Embark on the creative adventure. This is what this card says. Then here, the first card, it says, prepare yourself for the bad times. As you see here, there's a protective umbrella above the savings. This card urges you to prepare yourself for what is coming. It doesn't mean that you're going to end up in a financial bad situation. It just reminds you need to be ready for a rainy day and storms. It urges you to prepare yourself for the inclemencies of life. It asks you, do you have a rescue plan? Do you have a safety cushion? Do you realize there is something that could be unforeseen, that is unpredictable, that will come to you in the near future? This card is not a negative card. It's just reminding you to be careful for yourself. It urges you to prepare for ifs. That's what this card is saying. It's like you ask yourself, do I have an insurance? Is my income stable? Is my car well maintained? How secure is it? This card is all about that. It tells you also not to spend all that earn, but in opposite, it tells you to save all you can. Reflect on things that are not to be foreseen. Take control over the situation for the rainy days. That is what this card says. Then the last card here is actually a very lucky card out of the deck. This is the bonus card. As you see here, there's little bags of money here. So it means in the future, probably you will receive more money. Probably there is a bonus coming. We tell now for this month of July, but I'm thinking here on the long run, there will be more bonuses coming in the coming months. Maybe by the end of the year. Or it might be a gift that you receive from a friend, from a parent, or most likely maybe at your work. These amounts, of course, are often welcome for everybody. But the question is, what are you going to do with this bonus? So we come back here almost to the previous situation. With this money, the bonus that tells you, it tells you to, if you would have certain difficulties or some open debts, this card actually tells you to balance these debts and save what you can. Because maybe after the extra bonus that you balance yourself with, you will still have a little bit less, and you will need this for the rainy days. So put, if you can, these bonuses after you're balanced in a savings account and let it stay there. Just let it rest. And by taking a break after you balanced, maybe you think about the thing about the whole in an all other way. So don't have urges to spend, but if you receive the bonus, just let it be where it is. It will run nowhere. It reminds you to control impulses, and if you want to balance, after your balance, just take care of this money, because you never know when the rainy day is coming to you or when it will arrive at your doorstep. That is actually what it means. So we make a short roundup here. So we need to be creative with what we have, limit our spending by using our own creativity, because we need to think maybe rainy days are coming. And the bonuses that we receive, we just put in savings accounts. That is what this lane for the Aerosol group is meaning. Thank you for watching. See you next time. So welcome, Pisces, and this time we continue with the Stone group. As you can see here, the middle card is the card of the needs. Everybody of us is unique and individual, and we have different points of view, but basically this card says we all have the same basic needs, meaning we need food, we need warmth, we need shelter. In some areas we need ventilators or air cons. We have all basic needs that we cannot that we have and that we cannot run from. So all this is related to our daily life and our existence. And the question here asked is that you need to reconsider your real needs. You need to take time to compare what is in your current situation really fundamentally and what is an option. You need to distinguish those two. This card asks you to analyze your current condition and situation. You need to distinguish what you are obligated to buy, like food, water, whatever it is that you basically need, and your desires, your longings. If you make a fair and a precise analysis of your situation, you will come to a certain conclusion, and you will see what is really essential and what is unnecessary. You will think, well, actually, I didn't need this or that. So you can it's like you eliminate these incidental purchases or whatever you want to. When we are in a supermarket or in a store, sometimes we feel the urge to buy something that we really need. This is on a small scale, but some people of us tend to buy also things that have a more severe impact on the budget. So this card tells you to eliminate the things that you don't need. Unnecessary luxurious purchases. It tells you when you want to buy something really luxurious, it's like you need to plan it. You need to plan it out before you make those purchases. And when you actually do buy it, you will feel differently because you worked a long time towards it. This is like a planning card. So this is the central card. This is the most important card. This is probably what happened in the past. As you see here, it says Christmas, Easter, and Valentine. This card is actually about us being generous. Probably with people around you, you have been generous, maybe in the time of Christmas, Easter, or with Valentine, or whatever whatever important holiday you consider to be important to you. Maybe you spoiled people around you. But this card tells you to think about the origins of those celebrations. Because as we know, and most of us realize, that Christmas, Easter, and Valentine are very commercialized. They are no longer going back to the essence of what we actually need. Like, it urges you to get information what Saint Valentine actually means, what Valentine actually means. You go on the internet, you read a book about it, read a book about Christmas, the origin of Easter. So it makes you reflect of the real value of things. And related to that, the gifts we offer to our loved ones. Some of these, I'm aware that some of these festivities have a religious origin, but we need to balance this according to our loved ones. I don't say you cannot spoil your loved ones with love, but you can spoil them without opening your wallet. Maybe this year, you felt really good, you're in a good mood, and you overindulged yourself in expenses and spending money for gifts that you bought probably for other people. But then, of course, in the next month, we are confronted with the horror of the payments. The invoices arrive. So then we come in a certain situation that we prefer not to be. So it urges us to think the moment before we spend. We need to think about the real values of Easter, Valentine, and the real value of meaning. If it's a belief or not, it don't actually matter. But you need to put the things in their historical context and give them a sincere meaning instead of applying them in overconsumption or being over generous. Don't let yourself fool by advertisements and marketings, because no loved one will love you more because you give them presents. They will not. So it urges you also to express your feelings in a different way than gifts. It doesn't come always in quantity, but it comes in quality. And maybe you should reorganize the quality with your loved ones instead of offering them the gifts. That is what this card means. Then we have the next card here. That is where we are going. So this card is actually about the reflection. We need to think about what we are doing. So the card actually relates nice in the context of the previous two, and this is a card of awareness. This card wants to point out to you that you probably gaining some form of awareness about the things you did with Christmas, with New Year's, with a holiday, with a birthday. So it tells you you need to accept and you need to accept and stop living in denial and hoping for better days. It tells you you are the architect, the constructor of the current situation. You are the one in charge and you are the one to manage yourself. Of course, I know I'm aware of external elements, such as unforeseen events. It can influence the situation, but still, you need to take control. You need to take charge. You need to reflect. It also tells you, if it's out of your mind, it's out of your heart, to maybe write things down. For some people, it helps. Note your impressions. Write down what you like about your current condition and what you don't like. List your present and future condition or fears. It also tells you to list hopes and make a plan for avoiding situations that you came to be in now. It's like it urges you, this card, to take a step back and to get the bigger picture. It's like you're going up to the sky and you have an clear overview over your whole situation. If you do so, you will be surprised how much more effect it has on you. It's easy to get carried away and be very enthusiastic about gifts you're gonna offer. But it also can make you hit a wall. So don't be passive. Become aware of your current situation and think about the solution that could improve the situation that you arrived in. So we repeat, the central card here is you need to prioritize your basic needs. It urges you, if festivities, holiday, birthdays are coming up, to balance those. And the last card is you need to reflect, if your current situation is less positive, how you arrived there, and to make notes about the whole situation where you are currently in. So this is all for the Stone group of Pisces. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Welcome, Pisces. We are now continuing with the Shell group, what means the water element, who represents the water element. These cards are a little bit more heavy. As you can see here, the central card is what is currently going on. I cannot say this is a happy card because, as you can see here, the card represents a bankruptcy or a very difficult situation that you're currently facing. Meaning maybe your current situation, financial situation is tormenting you. You wake up and you think about the money. Maybe you believe that you are in a certain balance deficit, or you reach the point of no return. So maybe if you are in this situation, this card sometimes also urges you to see a bankruptcy specialist. Or if in another case scenario, you talk to somebody, a banker, about your current financial situation. It says also that before you start anything, especially signing an agreement, inform yourself and consult more than the specialist or the professional only. Maybe you should evaluate several options. You can consider the specialist, or you can talk to several specialists. And then it urges you to evaluate the choices to you that are offered. You make the balance between advantages, disadvantages, and you pick the choice that is most comfortable for you in your situation. If the situation is very severe, of course, you need to make cutbacks. There is no getting around that. But still, you can make the best out of it. So if you communicate with several people about these advantages or the disadvantages, you can come to a conclusion that is best for you. Also, it will have a certain impact on you, and it also will learn you to prevent these situations in the future. Of course, for some of us, bankruptcy is simple, and some people can easily start up from a bankruptcy, but it all depends on the situation. Anyway, whatever the decision is you make about your current financial situation, it will have consequences. And you will need to radically change your consumption habits or your way of spending, or reorganize your business so you are not confronted with the same situation. Maybe in your business, if it's related to a business, some departments were not functioning well, and you kept them for old time's sakes, and then you come in situations as you have now. If you did not yet reach the Saturnal point, the point of that you're over the top, this card warns you to think wisely. This card tells you to avoid hitting the wall. You need to reflect now before and cut off things that you don't need. If it's related to your business, you need to cut off some things. If it's to your personal spending, you need to stop spending things that you are spending now, else maybe you could end up in a very difficult situation. So this card urges you to reflect. The card next to it is acceptance. If you're not yet in a very difficult situation, because it all depends, it tells you to accept your current situation. And actually here, the main phrase is not more, but better spending. Meaning, maybe you're always on the lookout for options, promotions, things you want to buy in a certain promotion. It tells you that you must accept your situation for what it is today. The point is of taking you the risk of economical inflation or managing your situation as best as you can. I would almost say here, some people will feel uncomfortable with the thought, but if you buy something, sometimes also second-hand stores are a good option. It can manage your budget, and sometimes you can really buy nice things there. So this is also an option. This is like you reflect. Instead of buying the car that is new, you buy a car that is a used car, but that is in very good condition and that still offers you a large warranty. So it's like for changing your spending behavior in a more better way. It's not always here like the American dream of abundance and wealth. Sometimes we can do with secondhand things or used things than aspiring to abundance and wealth. This card tells you it wants to warn you and keep you out of the financial abyss, financial troubles. You need to realize also people that have a lot of money are not necessarily associated with happiness. But anyway, you must accept and appreciate, if that is possible, your situation today as it is. And also, there will always be better people who have more and are better off financially than we are. But the other side also, even though you are maybe in a difficult situation for now, there are people, don't forget that, who live in squatters, who live in very poor circumstances, who can hardly buy food. The bottom line being, it's not what you earn or what you have, but it's how you manage your source of income or how you manage your business. You must make a balance between the income and your expenses, whatever these incomes or might be. It's your actions that define and determine if you're short of money or not. If this card also, if this is related to your business and your business is going down the hill, it tells you to reorganize your business before it's too late. It's a warning card. So it tells you, if you're a private person, to spending within your means, and if you are a business person, to reevaluate your whole financial businesses. If some branches are not functioning as they should, to consider them and take them from what they are and draw your conclusions. Then we have the last card. This is the future card. It's the card of reflection. It tells you to be aware of your current situation, and you need to think about improvement. So it fits perfectly in the previous two. It says, this card, that you are the only one who has the ability to transform your situation. You need to stop denying this situation and hope for better days. You are the one who's orchestrating, architecting your financial life and your sustainability. You are the one who has the power to change things or keep the situation as it is. But as we saw, it's very heavy. I think this is not an alternative right now. Of course, it's also possible that you have come to this situation through external elements, unforeseen elements, as we have Corona right now, and it can, of course, influence your course or your decisions. Sometimes we cannot foresee what is coming, but it tells you it's time to manage. And this management decision that you make can make the whole difference. So this card tells you to reflect. It tells you to make notes, to write things down. Write your things down, what you like about your current condition and what you don't like. list your present and future fears. Also, you need to note your hopes, and you make a plan of action to make it actually happen. So actually, it tells you like a hawk going in the sky, looking at his prey, to take a step back and have an overview. Have an overview from higher up. Take a step back and give yourself the gift of perspective. It tells you it's time to not get carried away anymore, but you need to think and protect yourself from not hitting the wall. Don't be passive, become aware of your current situation and think about a solution that would greatly improve your existence. So we make a short analysis again. Here, this is your current difficult situation that you're involved in. This tells you to reflect on the current situation, accept the situation as it is. If you can still get out of the situation, maybe you can imply second-hand, cheaper things that still come with good warranties in your business or in your personal life. And this card here, the last card, tells you it's time to be active and not be passive for the current situation that you are in. So this was all for the Shell group of pieces. I hope you enjoyed all 4 of my readings. If you like the 4 readings, please feel free to subscribe, and thank you for watching my videos. See you next time. Thank you again.